Hi everybody, this is Dr.Shahin Ghadir. I hope that you are doing well. We are planning a wonderful Instagram Live today, and in a second I will be adding Katie, and I'm really excited to talk to her today. Give me 1 second as I try to add her.
Hi.
We did it!
I'm glad I'm not the only one who has these problems. So.
You know, I didn't know that I hadn't done an Instagram Live in a bit, and I think they've changed the entire format of Instagram. So I had a quick lesson today. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. So it's so nice to meet you. I have heard so much about you, and I'm so excited to talk to you today. One of the things I love to do when I start an Instagram Live is have my guests introduce themselves, so my audience knows exactly what you do and how amazing you are and who you are, and then we can go from there if that's okay with you.
Absolutely. So I'm a medical intuitive and a licensed professional counselor. I've been a licensed counselor for over 30 years, really long time. And as a medical intuitive, generally medical intuitives can look into people's bodies and energy and tell them about their medical, emotional issues. I work a little bit differently in that I have someone just send me their name and age, and I create a 4-page report that is extremely comprehensive. It's all about everything in their life, relationships, physical and emotional stuff, spiritual stuff, trauma, career, intuitive abilities. I mean, anything you can possibly think of currently and in the past. And then I use that information with the help of my guides to help them solve problems, figure out the root cause for issues, help them learn about their intuition, refer them to people like you, and things like that. So that's kind of what I do in a nutshell.
That's amazing. And so you get this feeling, you're able to do this all with a name and a date of birth?
Not even a date of birth, an age.
Just an age.
Yeah, if I didn't do it, it would sound crazy, because I can't really explain it. I have a template, the report template that I've created, and I just ask my guides to give me information. And so I think I connect with their guides, but I also connect with, their loved ones who have passed. They give me information a lot too, because I'm a medium. And it's always really, really accurate. I've been tested before, and I come out to about 97% accuracy on average. I send them the report, or I create a painting, energetic painting to go with the report. But I send that to them before we meet or before I've gotten any information. So, I can't BS it. It's there. And then I get more information when we talk, and it's very cool work.
When did you realize that you had this ability or this talent or this gift that you have about being intuitive and knowing and feeling things?
Sure. So when I was really young, I was very empathic. I always picked up on other people's feelings. I, knew things about people, and I would tell my parents, and they would sort of look at me like, okay, you're right. How do you know that? And at a very young age, I started picking up a lot of negative energy. And so that was really, really scary. And it made me turn away from my abilities and not want to have them, because when I remember, being 10 years old and feeling all this evil energy around me and just not wanting anything to do with that. Then coming from a very dysfunctional family, I developed an eating disorder, bulimia. And I knew that I either had to get help or I needed to end my life because it was unbearable. So without telling my parents, I called our pediatrician, let him know what was going on, and he referred me to a Jungian therapist, Carl Jung, who is, they're very open to psychic abilities and connecting with intuition and self-love and all that. So having an eating disorder was really a gift that allowed me to accept my abilities, not be afraid of them, and to basically build on that. As a counselor, I would pick up things about people without them telling me, things like that. Actually, one of my first experiences was helping someone. The first experience I can identify was helping someone who was having trouble getting pregnant. And I ended up channeling her grandmother who had passed. And about a month later, she ended up getting pregnant. And
Wow.
yeah, it was really amazing. They had been trying for literally years. So
Wow.
it was, it was, it was sort of like, okay, I can't ignore this anymore. I have to, use it more in my work and find out about it. And then about 8 years ago, my mom got a flu shot. She died, changed my life, changed the way I looked at things. And I knew I wanted to go deeper within my own spirituality. And I took a 3-day workshop with a really well-known medical intuitive. And she just said, give me a name and an age and tell me everything you can. And we didn't know if it was a person or an animal. But much to my surprise, I knew a lot. And it kind of floored me. And she said, you really should pursue this. So ever since then, I've just, I started out just kind of experimenting on people and fooling around with it. But now it's really become my passion.
Wow, that's amazing. So for me, as a fertility specialist, who people come to, in a moment where it's a lot of lost faith and being desperate and really wanting to do everything, one of the words that you said that really strikes home is energy, because I've realized one of my jobs, other than just using the best science and the best laboratory environment that we have here at my clinic, Southern California Reproductive Center, is giving people the ability and letting them know how important their energy is during this process. And I have to tell you that I'm a firm believer that people who go into what I'm doing for them with really good energy and really positive feeling and just letting everything go and being completely 100% there for themselves do much better. I have this last year an unbelievable story of a prior patient of mine who had come to me, froze her eggs. She came back when she met Mr. Right, and she had very few eggs at that time, so I was really glad that she did it. But she's like, I'm going to do one more cycle right before we thaw my frozen eggs from when I was younger. She made 2 eggs. Both of the eggs were mature. Both of the eggs were fertilized. Both grew perfectly, and both came back genetically normal, which in my world is the most unheard of thing for someone who is over 40 years of age.
Yeah.
She told me that she took an erasable marker pen on her mirror and she sent me a picture of it. She drew 2 big eggs on the mirror of her bathroom.
I love it.
She put little signals on them that they are humans and embryos and they're healthy. And she said she stared and gave good energy to these vibes the entire process. And she sent that to me after this entire thing was done. And I use her as an example. I mean, I'm not sure if that'll work for everyone, but what do you have to lose about bringing positive energy into any situation in this world, especially one that you're feeling very desperate, very sad, and very hopeless, and changing it around and bringing complete hope, complete faith, and positivity into?
I fully believe that. I fully believe that had I not done that with the eating disorder depression situation, I would not be here. And I went in saying, you know what, I just have to get better. I'm really low. I have to do this. And I bonded with the therapist, and every time I went to see her, it was positive and hopeful. And that is what healed me. And it really is about like self-love and acceptance and connecting to your intuition. She connected to her intuition. That's
So
great.
you said that you're also a therapist, correct?
Mhm.
So do you do sessions with people one-on-one, like hourly sessions, just like any other therapist does?
I do. There are people I see, every week or every other week or something. Everything emanates from my intuition. And even when I didn't do medical intuitive work as a therapist, I always let my intuition give me information and signals and things. So I think I always was doing this and didn't really realize it.
That's great.
Yeah.
What has been your experience working with patients struggling with fertility? I know that you gave that beautiful story about the person, but is there anything in particular that you would recommend you would do as a therapist, as an intuitive, for someone who is undergoing the struggles that we're discussing right now?
For sure. There's a few themes that seem to have come up. So the area where your reproductive organs are is the second chakra. Chakras are energy centers in our body for people who don't know that. And the second chakra can be very complicated. It's often a source of wounding, and that could be sexual abuse or sexual assault. It could be growing up in an environment where women and women's energy was not respected or heard. It can be about, if you've had an eating disorder, there's shame involved in that. It all goes down to, you know, being a female, how females are viewed in society. It's all about appearance. So there's so many aspects of that second chakra. And I really encourage people to work on the health of their second chakra. So physically, that might mean doing hip opening exercises, strengthening your hip flexors, sending love to that area. If you know, really examining the trauma that you've been through, you may not even realize it's been traumatic. So there's a lot of, you know, things about that. It's not uncommon for me to work with people dealing with infertility who've had trauma related to that area. That area also has to do with relationships. So if you have a secure relationship, your second chakra tends to be more energetically healthy. And I've worked with people who they were told by a doctor, everything's great, your hormones are great, your sperm is great, everything's cool. But what we ended up identifying was that they were hoping that a child would save their marriage. And I really believe that our intuition works for us. And that person ended up getting, well, it's happened to a lot of people, but one person that I can think of, the relationship was not healthy. And she ended up getting out of it and having a new relationship and getting pregnant, no problem. So it's really looking at things holistically.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I do believe that not only is that part, the second chakra of the body, important, but I think the mind is so incredibly important, because so much of the energy that flows through us is coming from thoughts, from emotions, from the energy that is coming in and out of our soul, from our brain, and from everything going on up here in the psyche. And I'm curious if you have any exercises or anything that you recommend to people to kind of clear and bring good energy and increase their intuitiveness and the energy, but especially before such an important thing like what we do as fertility specialists.
Definitely. And that also brings up another topic from the mind. I have people who, because of their dysfunctional family relationships, don't trust their abilities to be a good parent. They think that they're going to screw up their kids or hurt them. It's not physically hurt them, but they just think they're going to be crappy parents. And so that brings fear into that whole process. And as you know, anxiety can contribute to infertility. So, and hormone imbalance and all of that. So another thing I suggest is really sending love to your unborn child. You know, imagining it in your uterus and your eggs being healthy, and just sending love to yourself. That, and the message that you don't have to be perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect parent, and it's okay as long as you're there for your kids. It's going to be fine. So, a couple of exercises. One super quick and easy one is to stand or sit on the floor and imagine that you are connected to Mother Earth through your feet and through the heavens from above. And take a deep breath in. As you do that, take in all of the energy and love and fertility from Mother Earth. As you breathe out, say to yourself, I release all energy, thoughts, and entities that no longer serve me and don't belong to me. Because a lot of people are empathic and pick up other people's stuff. So, and you just keep breathing in and out for as long as you want. It's very grounding, very relaxing. So that's I
love that word, by the way, grounding. I think in this day and in this era, many people are forgetting that they need to be grounded. They need to remember who we are. We're human beings on Earth. And I think that we are just in a society that's just so fast and faster and faster, and losing the ability to connect as human beings.
Sure.
to the world around us. So being grounded, I think, is a beautiful thing. I have patients of mine that the first thing they do is go for a walk, literally barefoot in their backyard,
Yep.
when they wake up in the morning, just to feel the earth below them and know that they're human and know that they belong on this earth and how important their existence is. I think that with that, one of the things that's worked really well, and we have now full-time in-house in my office, is acupuncturist.
Love acupuncture.
Which we absolutely love, and she's just amazing. She can make anyone just relax and go to the next level and forget about the world around them and just like bring energy to the areas that need it. I'm such a firm believer of that. But I think that going along with just like being grounded, and thing that we've talked about again and again, bringing that good energy into the body is such an important way to start the day and how to proceed. I did want to kind of explain to some of the people that are sending messages. I don't think we're going to go into individual questions today, but I am more than happy if anyone wants to set up a time. They can go to the Instagram page and send me their information, and I can set up a time to go over these questions with them. But this is one that, was really important, just the topic of anxiety, and how it harms us in every single thing that we do. Do you want to touch base on that?
Yeah, and it gets into grounding too, because if you are grounded, it's much easier to be mindful and present. If you're in the present day, then it's a lot more difficult to think about your past or your future, which is where anxiety is, and it's all about what's going to happen in the future. What if I screw it up? And then all these things, bad things happened to me in the past. What if they happen again? So you really need to be in a mindful place to help ease anxiety. And another exercise, this is going to be in my book, and it's something I use for every client, but to connect with your body to help you ground and to help you to even talk to your eggs, if you will, is to think about intuition as this all-knowing force. This is all Jungian, it's not me, so I can't take credit for it, but think of intuition as an all-knowing force. And Carl Jung called it God within. And it's something that loves you unconditionally, accepts you unconditionally, is always a source of protection and love. So the exercise, my favorite exercise, is to physically write out a question or a statement or your feelings and direct it to your intuition. And then just sit and wait for whatever you hear back and write that down. Then write back to it, wait for what you hear, write that down. So you're having a written conversation with your intuition. And doing it in writing is very powerful because it helps to ground you, because you're actually writing. You have to stop what you're doing to write. So you're not walking around the house taking care of kids and other things. And it makes the energy much more powerful. But for me, when I was recovering from the eating disorder, that was my only source of love. So that helped me learn self-love. It helped me learn that I was safe. It helped ease a lot of anxiety. And it just helps center me. And then I also applied that to talking to the eating disorder. And I tell people, talk to your uterus, talk to your body, talk to whatever, and ask, what's going on right now? What can I do to heal? What is this here to teach me? Use it as a friend, like you're having a conversation with a friend, instead of being really mad at your body because you can't get pregnant, or seeing it as your enemy or whatever else. But it really, like you said, makes everything so much more positive and helps you feel like a participant instead of like, I can't get pregnant. What's happening to me? I have no control over this.
I really appreciate the word you said, self-love. I can't tell you how many consultations I do with patients that are so upset at themselves and so angry. And then also couples that have now been so distanced because of the lack of unity and because of the lack of everything that's happened in their lives, that just has pulled them apart rather than bring them together at a time where you need to be loved by someone, your partner, and also the self-love that you need to give yourself. I think that is so important, and I want to take a moment to talk about that, because fertility really tests you. It tests your patience, It tests your ability to make sure that, you can prove that you love yourself no matter what. It teaches you to be resourceful, to get the best help, to figure out how to get the best help. And if during this process you don't have that self-love, that self-worth, being grounded, being emotionally stable, not allowing anxiety to take over your body, it's very, very difficult to see that this does well. And it's incredibly important. So thank you so much for bringing that up. You brought up so many important topics in just like almost 30 minutes that people don't think of in their entire lifetime.
Right.
And I think it's really important. How does someone set up an appointment or get to talk to you and learn more about the intuitive side, the beautiful therapy side, the supportive side that you're able to offer for them?
Sure. I make all my appointments through my website, which is just katiebeecher.com, BEE. There's a link on my Instagram. So follow me on Instagram. You can DM me if you have questions, but pretty much make an appointment through my website. And I'm always available, by email. Even when I do readings with people, they're very extensive, and some people call them a year of therapy in an hour. So we talk about a lot. And I even encourage people to email me after the reading if they have questions that they forgot about or want more information. And I don't charge extra for that because I really feel like that's important to do. I don't want people to feel like I forgot to ask a question. Now I have to make a whole new appointment. And that's just,
Katie, I have a question for you. I'm sorry. I'm so dying of curiosity right now. So from a name like Shahin Ghadir, I don't need a 4-page explanation, but just the first thing that comes into your mind, I'm just really curious how this begins. Or is it a process for you to collect this energy and get it to come to you first?
So my first step is I have a card deck. It's an oracle card deck with 52 cards, and I pull a card to get myself out of my own head.
Okay.
I will answer your question though. Because as a human, I can easily put my own spin on the information I get from my guides or misinterpret it. Super quick example, I was working with a kid, I heard teeth enamel. My humanness said she must have a problem with her teeth. When I met with her mom, she said, no, she has extraordinarily strong teeth enamel. So I've learned to write down what I get, not interpret too much. And that's why we go over the report with my client, because their input is just as important. So that starts the process, and that helps me give me a little insight into the person, and it helps me kind of listen so I can fill out the rest of the report. The first thing I heard about you, I'm listening, is really sensitive, and that sensitivity hasn't always made life easy for you, and you've had to learn to set boundaries. And not everyone's able to do that. Especially, I think people in helping professions who are able to do that are much more effective. And I think that working with fertility for you is such it helps give you more life, a sense of bringing love into the world. And I feel like you get such incredible satisfaction from your work, and that you are just so nurturing to people. So off the top of my head.
Wow. Spot on. Absolutely. Every single word that came out of your mouth is so true. I am very sensitive. It's allowed me to be I think, very caring person in my life. But I think that aspect of what I do has come across in my career that has allowed me to do incredibly well. At times it can make my job much harder because it has an emotional toll on me. But overall, it's allowed me to be a much, much better physician when your heart really cares. And I absolutely loved talking to you today. So thank you so much. You keep giving that good energy and that intuitiveness and that support to the world. And I hope that we have an opportunity to talk again. For anyone who is watching, There were some amazing questions. I do want to let quickly people know that a low AMH is not one that keeps you from not getting pregnant, but is one that should push you to be proactive about your fertility. The person that talked about anxiety, you need to have those things under control. So a center like ours that has people that are supportive, caring environment with acupuncturists is really important. I'm happy to go into more detail and do consultations. I do consultations with people around the world. So we are both here to help everyone who is watching, and we thank you guys very much for your time. We hope that everyone has a great day. It was an early start to our days here in the US, but thank you again, Katie, so much. I'll be posting this on my Instagram channel and hopefully be able to get a copy to you as well. And it'll definitely go onto my YouTube page as well.
That would be wonderful. And I just want to plug my book. It's coming out early January, February of 2022 and being published by St. Martin's Press.
That's great.
It's called Heal From Within, An Intuitive Guide to Wellness.
Amazing. Amazing. I can't wait to take a look at it.
Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Same here. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.